Welcome to the PT Legends podcast, where co-host Dave Bess and myself, Scott Carpenter, share our journey and secrets of success. From our humble beginnings as personal training employees of a big box gym to struggling studio owners that have made every mistake in the book, to where we are now, the owners of a multi-seven-figure business operating multiple personal training studios internationally, and now coach and mentor to fitness professionals in 5 countries and counting. This is our story, and these are our secrets. Subscribe to our podcast, learn, take action, and build your own fitness empire. Welcome back to the PT Legends podcast. I am Scott.
Big Dave clocking in
Once again. Today we're going to talk about why we settle for less in our business. And we're also going to share, Dave's going to share his colossal rejection that he had earlier in his life. We were just talking about this a little while ago when we were in New Orleans with the guys. And
wait, was I so drunk? Did I tell that story?
You told that, at least parts of it.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's funny, guys. But it really relates to the fact that we have a hard time moving forward in business. A lot of times we get comfortable where we're at, and we kind of settle. And I mean, when we look back years ago, when you first started your business, you're super excited because you wanted to lead a movement. You wanted to impact your community. You wanted to change people's lives, and for the better. Just how fitness is instrumental in changing your life, you wanted to do that for other people, and you had like hopes and dreams, right? And like in Cocktail and the pink neon lights, right?
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. And then reality hits and business is hard and people don't listen to you as much. And you try a lot of things and you failed a lot of things or had mediocre success. And your business probably isn't at a level where you would initially dreamed of. And a lot of times we settle for that because it's scary to do otherwise. Some of you are on the up and up and you're actually at all-time highs right now, which is great. But a lot of you, I know, because we work with a lot of you, we work with 2 types of businesses, guys. We work with ones that are doing really well, and we help them launch them to the stratosphere in the next, to an entirely new level that they didn't think possible. And then we also work with the gyms who are struggling, whether you're having a hard time making ends meet or you're taking home $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, but you still have all the overhead and the stress and you're working a lot and all that kind of stuff. So we work with both types of gyms. But no matter where you're at some point, you'll probably reach a certain comfort level, whether that is you're always grinding and struggling, or where you kind of had the golden handcuffs where like you're doing pretty good. You're not working a ton of hours. You want more, but it's really unsettling to go for more. And that's where a lot of people are trapped. No doubt about it. But, and so why do we settle for that?
That's a great question. Is it just fear of just the unknown of if I fall on my face, what's going to happen?
That's a big part of it. I think one is like, I've tried all these different things and I don't know how to break through to the next level. I think so. Part of it's knowledge, but, and these things we can find, but I think it's scary even to seek that out and scarier to pull the trigger on it because shoot, we've spent a lot of money on different coaches.
Yes.
They're expensive to work with. Right. And like, I wouldn't have spent the money that you did initially because I was too scared to do it. And I mean, recently we hired somebody for $15,000, right? I was still scared to do it, but you've given me a lot more confidence to do that and go for it. But I think you hit it on nail on the head. Like a lot of it is fear, and it's fear of being rejected. And when we talk about how to sell transformational offers and sell $2,000, $3,000, upwards of $7,000, $8,000 for 9-week programs to clients, a lot of the clients that sign on with us, they or the people thinking about it, they see it. Like there's immediate social proof because they know multiple people that are doing this and are exploding their businesses. So they get it. The fact of the matter is you can't get enough leads to, if you have a large group and you're going on volume and low price, it's really hard to keep that growing because of attrition.
Fact.
You've got to sign up 15 people, a lot of you, to prevent from sliding backwards, or at least 10 people just to prevent from moving backwards. And so you know that you can't get enough leads and Facebook leads are more expensive. You know that if you just focus on retention, that number can only get so close to zero. That's tough. Like, you can't just focus there. It's a law of diminishing returns just by its very nature. People are going to get sick. They're going to move away, right? They're going to get bored no matter how great of a service you deliver. So you can only get so close. And what it comes down to is you got to raise the price, but it's freaking scary. When we did it, scared. And a lot of it's just like, you have this amazing consultation. You have this amazing conversation. Like, this person needs it. They know it. I know it. They need this thing. I'm so excited. And instead of looking at your normal prices and selling them PT or group, you look at these transformation ones, and everything in your being is saying, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm too scared to offer my $3,000 program.
It's a defense mechanism, right?
Yeah.
It's just, no, I don't want to hear that no. I don't want to hear. I'm terrified of the no.
You've got so much invested in that conversation, and then you're so scared to hear that no. And that's a lot of what it is. And what do you do? So you've got a technique. This is what we were laughing about. You've got a technique that you do going into these consultations that help you get over that like every time.
I think I do this probably once a week. I have the I have the conversation with myself. It's like, what's the worst case scenario? I ask myself that probably maybe every day, like subconsciously, like if I'm doing something like, I have to have a renewal conversation, you know, and you have that kind of the voice in your head. It's like, what if this person doesn't renew? Like, they've went through 6 weeks, they're seeing amazing changes. What if they say no? So like I always shift to, well, what's the worst case scenario? So this is my worst case scenario. So I guess this was this was like 2011, right before I moved to Arizona. The story is, I was living in Southeast Missouri, taking care of the family farm. And I mean, I was 27, just an idiot. And I had looking back at it, I had a really good chance with a girl who I loved. But at the time, I was an idiot, and I didn't know if I wanted to, like, okay, let's move to Wisconsin and really make it happen with her, or move to Arizona. And so I was just so indecisive. Like, we ended up breaking up, and I'm still in Southeast Missouri thinking, okay, what is my future going to look like? And I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but I was a huge fan of Dawson's Creek. So it was James Vanderbeek, okay? And then Zach Morris, Saved by the Bell. And I'm watching, TV. It's Franklin and Bash. Franklin and Bash is a show. And so it's a lawyer show. Great. It was only had a couple of seasons. But Idiot Dave, like, I'm watching it, and Dawson, James Vanderbeek, and Zach Morris are in the same scene together. And I go, that's it. I'm meant to be with Becca. Like, that was my internal dialogue.
Makes sense to me. I mean,
it makes sense to me. And I was like, okay. So the next morning I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to drive to Wisconsin today. So I drove. It was like an 8.5 hour drive. And now I listened to the same song. It was a Blake Shelton song. I'm not going to sing because I can't sing, but I listened to it on repeat, just getting jacked up for this main event that was going to go down. So I get to Wisconsin, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? And the girl, I used to manage the shop that she was working at. So I knew she was probably working there that day. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to her work, but what am I going to do? I decided to go with the life-size teddy bear route. So I went to Target, like a life-size teddy bear. It wasn't like a mini teddy bear. This is a big boy teddy bear. So I bought it, got some roses. So now the stars are aligned.
She doesn't know you're coming.
No idea. And at this, I mean, you wait till you hear the end of the story. Yeah, she is. She's clueless. So at this point, like, we're done. Dave's moving to Arizona. She thinks I'm on my way to Arizona. So I drive to her work, and now I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? I have this life-size teddy bear in the back of my car. I have roses. I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call into the shop. I'm going to talk to the manager, because I know the manager, Big John. I'm going to go, John, I'm here. I'm going to win Becca's heart back. You're going to open up the back door. Tell her to take out the trash. I'm going to be there. Sounds like a really...
This sounds like a Dawson's Creek plan.
Yes. Oh, hell yeah. So this is it. Katie Holmes, it was going to happen. And so I called, and she answered. So she was working that day, and I hung up immediately. And I'm like, gosh, there's caller ID. She texted me. And at this point, she's Italian, kind of mean. She texted me like, what the fuck are you doing calling the store? And so then I had about 15 seconds, and I'm like, what do I do? Do I wait until she gets off and greet her in the parking lot? No. That's not what James Vanderbeek would do. I'm going to go into the store, guns a-blazing. So I grab my life-size teddy bear, I grab the flowers, and I march into the store. It was a crowded day. I think it was like a Friday afternoon. So wall to wall, it was like, it might've been, I don't know if it was the holiday season, but it was packed. I do remember that it was packed. And I walk in and just everyone is staring at me. And Becca, we catch eye contact. I'm like, this is it. This is like, I mean, this is a movie.
Cue that, whatever that song is. I'm not a Dawson's Creek fan, but cue that.
I don't want to wait. So this is that. Like, that's it. Like, this is my movie moment, right? It did not end movie. Well, I guess this movie moment, it spiked a panic attack. So she runs to the back, just leaves. So we caught this amazing eye contact, and I'm like, it's all happening. She leaves. So I'm standing in cement, just waiting. I'm like, she's going to come back out. This is all good. And then there's this older couple came up like, we don't know what you did wrong, but you're going to win her heart back. So at this point, I'm like 5 minutes into that. Like, I'm just standing there. Like, what do I do? What do I do? So I'm like, I'm going to just walk outside real quick and conduct myself. I get a text. The text said, motherfucker, leave. That's verbatim. And so the bottom line is, I don't know if you can get a worse no than that.
And you drove from Arizona to Wisconsin.
So this is Missouri, Missouri. But still 8.5 hour investment. And I mean, it was, at that time, I kind of thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with her too. I mean,
ouch.
And so my point being, and I tell this to the Legend clients, it wasn't that bad. That no wasn't that bad. Like, I got in my car. I'm like, okay, I have my answer. I moved out to Arizona and we're having this conversation today. I got closure from that. I'm like, okay, this just isn't meant to be. But that is the worst possible no. I could not get another no like that the rest of my life.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'm good.
Rip that Band-Aid right off.
Now every time I'm like, okay, I might get rejected. I have my Wisconsin moment. It's like, what's the worst that could happen? Hey, you should renew. And is that going to spike a panic attack? Probably not. So it was a great, I mean, I look back at it and I'm an idiot and I've taken a lot of chances like this, but I'll always say, hey, I did not have any regrets.
Yeah. And guys, that's the lesson right there is you gotta go for it, you know? And we've done it time and time again where we've hired expensive coaches and like, yeah, we might not get anything, but the Wayne Gretzky quote, right? You'll miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And how many shots in your life have you passed on because you were afraid of failing or you're afraid of getting rejected? And I mean, we do that all the time. Like, you were asking me after you told me that story, you're like, what's your biggest rejection? You know? And a lot of it, guys, then what I realized is like, I'm sure I've got something somewhere, but I had a hard time thinking of anything. And like where I mean, I've been rejected plenty, but not where like I went for it and just got completely rejected. And what I realize is the reason I'm having a hard time thinking of something like that is because I have actually let that fear of rejection prevent me from doing it in the first place. Like I know I've got it's stuff from way back, childhood, adolescence, or something like that. Whether it was a sports tryout or it was something with a girl, whatever. But I'm sure I had, like, from way long ago, some rejections, and it just caused me to put on that suit of armor. Where it's like, no, I'm not going to put myself out there anymore, and that's not good.
Yeah,
that's not good. You got to realize that, and I still get that for sure.
I guess that's maybe the most powerful thing is just failing hard. I think that's. I mean, probably every single successful person in the world has failed on their ass.
Yeah, over and over and over. And guys, this is why, like, that fear of rejection is why you sell a personal training session at $65 or $70 or $75 instead of putting it at $110, instead of putting it at $130. Is you fear that rejection. That's a big reason. And I mean, we teach you how to sell transformation programs, so you no longer have to do that. But at the end of the day, yeah, you gotta sit there and for a 9-week program, ask for $2,000, $3,000, $6,000, and then our legends have extended that to $7,000 and $8,000 for virtual programs. Virtual programs. It takes some balls to put that out there. And you're going to have to face the real possibility of rejection, saying, I don't think you're worth that. Now, they're good at that. I mean, we've taught them well, and they're killers.
But you're still going to get a lot of no's along the way.
Yeah.
No's that hurt.
You're going to get no's. Absolutely. And you are. But if you let that guide your behavior, you're going to settle. I guarantee you. You just have to reach.
Yep.
You have to reach bigger. You just have to do it. And we've all had areas where we played the small game because it was safer. Right? There's less fear of failure. There's less fear of rejection. No doubt about it.
I can't wait the next time we fail at something. I'm looking forward. It's so fun. Like looking back at it, like every time that I've fallen on my ass like that, it's never been as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It's probably going to be the book, right? It's probably going to be the book I write. People are like, this book sucks.
1-star reviews on Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you just got to do it, guys. I mean, we were scared the first time we did a podcast.
Yep.
Right? There's
Facebook Live.
Facebook Live, our first Facebook Lives. And then you just go for it and you realize, because what you do, this is what I have consciously done over the years, though, is for the past maybe 3 years, is when I'm scared of something, I label it. I write it out. And I ask questions. I'm like, okay, what do I fear right now?
Yep.
Why do I fear that? And then, like, what is my worst, just like your thing, like, what is the worst case scenario that could happen?
Nuclear scenario.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I also look at, like, what is the best case scenario? And then I look at what's the most likely. And then, but I take a look at that worst case scenario and really illustrate it. And then I'm like, okay, how likely is it to happen, and assign a percentage? And then I go beyond that and I say, okay, so here's the worst case scenario. Here's how likely it has happened. Can I recover from this? How long would it take me to recover? How much would it set me back? And here's the thing. Let's say I'm choosing between selling them a $150 group membership versus $3,000. What's the worst case scenario? In both instances, it's a zero. They tell me no, and it's a zero. At the $3,000, I might feel a little bit humiliated, maybe, because it's newer and this and that, right? But that's it. You know, what's the best case scenario? My best case is $150 or $3,000. What's the likelihood of each? Well, the closing percentage, believe it or not, is very damn similar. And your potential upside is way higher than the $3,000. And then, you know, the worst case scenario is a $0. Well, what is that really? Okay, well, I'm going to lose the sale, and then my feelings might be hurt, or I might be a little embarrassed, whatever. I'll have to face rejection. Okay. Yeah. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is that? It's not really bad at all.
No.
Right? I'm not physically harmed, right? Nobody's bad-mouthing me. Like,
yeah.
Right? And how long would it take me to recover from that? Oh, I don't know. 5 seconds.
Seriously.
Right?
Yep.
You literally have nothing to lose. Like, you just have to do it. And that fear lets us play small so many times in our lives. So many times. But yeah, define it. What's the best case scenario? What's the most likely scenario? Yep. What's the worst case scenario? That worst case scenario, how bad really is it? Are you going to be maimed? Right? Are you going to be thrown out on the street? At the end of the day, most are so trivial.
Yes, right?
And we don't take time. Like that one you hit, that was pretty bad, right? So now you compare it to that. Is it going to be as bad as that? No. I can handle it then, right?
I've never had to know, though, like really like having this conversation, I've never had to know that hurt longer than, like with girls breaking your heart, like that can be. But man, it's never as bad as you think it is.
Yeah. It's the anticipation of it.
Anticipation.
That is what cripples us. And that's just in our minds, guys. We're just projecting this to be a bigger deal than it is, and it's not. And you're right. The most successful people, they fail faster than they fail more and faster than everybody else. And if you adopt that mindset, guys, there's no limit. Like, you don't have to settle for your business right now. You don't have to settle for your life right now if you want more. You just got to be able to fail over and over again. That's it. And not fear it. Or, well, it's not that you don't fear it. It's that you choose to overcome that fear and take action anyways.
Love it.
Absolutely. So, hey, deep thoughts with Scott and Dave.
That's it. Go spike a panic attack out there. Get that no.
That's right, guys. But yeah, hopefully that was informative. I know this shows up somewhere in your life, so take a look for it. take action, do the right thing, and play the big game. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Dave and myself, Scott, would love to thank you for tuning in and listening to the PT Legends podcast. You can get direct access to us by joining our free Facebook group. Go to www.facebook.com/groups/7-figure personal trainer. That's 7-figure personal trainer with the number 7. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you can keep on learning and keep on living. Finally, if you picked up any tips whatsoever in this episode that you found helpful, be sure to leave us a review and tell us what you like best about it. Can't wait to see you on the next episode.